This is the first time that we have Dr. Alberto Garoli live in one of our events. So thank you so much for being here. Truly, this is an honor. I watched some of your videos before, and I wanted to interview you. So please, everybody, welcome Dr. Alberto Garoli, and thanks to Marcus Schmieke as well. So with that, I know Marcus said an extensive introduction for you, but can you please tell us a bit more about your background and what your experience is related to holistic health?
Thank you, Adriana. Thank you for the intro, and obviously, thank you, Marcus. I'm a clinician, so I work with patients, and I met Marcus in 2021. As Marcus was saying, I have experience in herbal medicine, especially the Ayurvedic tradition and the Chinese one, which is, I would say, slightly different from ours because, yes, it looks into the diseases and imbalances in the body, but it does from a different perspective. So the perspective is very often energetic. It's based on how the body is able to produce energy rather than what pathology is attacking the particular body. So this is why when I met Marcus, which is obviously the inventor and genius behind the conception of the field, we just clicked instantaneously. And also because we have a similar passion in Indian philosophy and Sanskrit and how these ancient populations understood how the health of a body is connected also to internal states and what we call today quantum fluctuations that are the mirror of the mind. So obviously my interest expanded from sheer clinical knowledge, which is how to heal patients, and then just medicine, Western medicine, into something that is much deeper. And obviously, if we combine everything, we get to the point where we understand that there is a background behind happiness, well-being, emotional states, and all that.
Perfect. Also, we know, again, as you said, you work closely with Marcus, and everybody is really, really curious on what went behind the creation of the elements. So we are explaining to everybody that this is not just a regular supplement, and that it's tailor-made for frequencies. Can you please explain us a little bit more about what makes this supplement so unique and about the synergy of the concept?
Wonderful. That's a very crucial question because I'm not aware of other supplements that are actually tailor-made to be working with frequencies. So microcurrents are setting the body into a specific frequency domain, and we always give for granted that the body is ready to receive them. We were talking one day because we met several times with Marcus, and Marcus wanted to develop products because, as he explained perfectly in the archetype idea, there's the ground part, the earth part, that connect also with the water and then the other two elements. But in this case, we're talking about molecules. We're talking about something substantial. And what is the most substantial mineral that we find in the body that activates the heme complex, which is the protein that binds oxygen inside our red blood cells? It's iron. So we started with this concept. We worked with the concept, and then obviously we developed the duo, which is energy in the night and then relaxation. Energy in the morning and relaxation at night. And obviously they're not just regular supplements because they are biosimilar. They're designed. I studied extensively how plants and different minerals can work as enzymes, but also as signals. They're not important in terms of quantity. We're not giving, say, 600 milligrams or 30 grams of something, or like an amino acid or protein. We're giving a signal that the body recognizes and transforms into something else. So the concept of biosignaling was then introduced and then is now tailor-made to click with frequencies, to sync with frequencies. So we can do a stimulating program in the morning and then trigger the energy metabolism, and then which is what we call catabolism, so that is to burn energy to release. And then we need the plastic function at night, which is the function that allows us to store energy. But in doing that, we need to trigger rest. This is why the ingredients of the night formulas are designed to trigger the relaxation phase.
So I think we actually went into what you just mentioned.
Yeah.
The how elements work through biosignaling and the revolutionary approach that we have through element supplements to really work and trigger all those things. But you were just now mentioning about the benefits, right? You were starting to go into the benefits between the morning and the night formula. So what is the best way to consume them? I love this about your presentation before on really honing in on not just the ingredients, but what is the best way to consume them.
Yes, so the concept that is the background of the stimulation is always the biphasic release of energy and then accumulation of it. We need more release in the morning, obviously, according to our day cycle, because the sun shines and all the hormones that our body is producing happens to be released very quickly in the morning. So we actually piggyback that function, and then we surf the wave in its high. And obviously, we give a signal. The body is able to read that signal and to operate. Most of the trace elements that are very particular for the body, very effective, are introduced in extremely small quantities, like iodine, for instance. A very small quantity of iodine, which is one of the ingredients of the day formula, is triggering the thyroid and is actually asking, almost like a signal, a biosignal, please produce more energy, burn more. If you have energy to be burned in form of proteins or carbohydrates, you also need to kindly ask the body to do it. And so this is what we do. The concept behind the elements in the morning is to ask the body to use whatever is ready to produce energy, which is thermal, and the body is warm, and then muscular in terms of jowls, so we're stronger, but also cognitive, so we can be more attentive. There's a plethora of functions that are associated with trace elements that then trigger neurotransmitters, like dopamine, for instance, which is very crucial to allow our mind to set a point and then to reach that particular point. It's designed to work almost like a planner that is extremely precise and then stops when the result is achieved. That is the morning. And many traditions, especially energy release, has a duration, and then it stops around 5 o'clock. And then at 5 o'clock, our body will require a different signaling. It would enter a phase of resting, and then the release of other neurotransmitters. The thyroid will slow down. We will be prepared to accumulate energy rather than use it for a function. So the best way to consume it is the strip in the morning that gives us energy with specific other indications like frequency programs and maybe activity, maybe breathing, and water. And at night, around between 5 and 7, we can start shifting into the other function, which is triggered by this biosignaling produced by the elements of night formula.
And I want to ask you, Dr. Albert Garoli, why a strip versus a powder or a pill?
Good question. We started thinking about supplements, and the first line was designed to be powders. But then we thought more in terms of signaling, and we went into the next phase. How do we signal? What is the best way? And obviously, it's not through the stomach. It is sublingual, which means the product, the small milligrams of these trace elements plus other molecules that work as biosignalers are not even going into the stomach. So they're not considered food. The body doesn't read it as food. It reads it more like a very precise and specific signal to do something. And the tongue allows that particular flow of information because of the capillaries. The capillaries will basically absorb the substances, the active ingredients that are dissolving very quickly.
All right. And we already spoke about the biggest benefits of using it in the morning, right? And the best way to consume it, and as well as in the night. Again, our bodies go through all of these different cycles. And at the end, I would want to see, again, if you want to touch base again on more about the philosophy of the ingredients. I know you mentioned iodine and a few others ingredients, why they are so critical, and why it's also the beauty of the product is that it's so simple in terms of ingredients because they have very specific I want to say reactions or actions to do and at the time. So can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, yes. The philosophy is based on trace elements and the fact that by evolution, mammals, placenta organisms like us, and dogs and cats as well, learn how to use oxygen. But in order to use oxygen, we also need to activate several other processes. And the particular elements, mineral elements or metals that work towards this end are called metalloenzymes. And an enzyme is a substance that normally produces a change in the body. Now, the most important is iron, because without iron, think about anemia. Without iron, we cannot use oxygen, we cannot carry oxygen, and oxygen is indispensable for cognitive function, muscular functions, and so on. But also iron is paramagnetic. So whenever we use a frequency device, that being mag Healy or just a microcurrents, a magnetic field is produced. Now, what reacts to that magnetic field? Everything that contains iron in the body. So the activation of this particular processes is iron dependent. And this is why iron plus other trace elements, iodine and selenium, for instance, are very balanced to produce that. And when you try it, especially with frequencies, you feel the difference in few minutes, especially because it's sublingual, and then the substances will go, basically will be absorbed, and the magnetic field will be obviously more resonant because of the trace elements. Same for the other metalloenzyme, which is copper. Again, it's almost like we're playing with alchemy. I don't know how many of you are well versed with the topic, but it sounds like obscure philosophy, but it was part of the ancient teachings. Think about Paracelsus, for instance, that invented the word zinc. Now we call it zinc as a mineral, but it was a word invented by Paracelsus. So using minerals in the proper way plus other active ingredients is actually triggering the body to perform certain precise functions, especially if the substance we're using is absorbed sublingually, not through the stomach. So the body will not consider it as food. We'll just know there's a signal and it has to do something. And it's a very precise chain of action.
I hope you get a chance to see our comments on the chat, how everybody is just in love and can't wait to activate themselves through elements. So with that, wrapping up, what would be your best insight? Because I love everything you're saying, and it is the new trend, right? Sublingual. I have been even consuming some of those, but the iron, the copper, the alchemy, the zinc, everything makes so much sense. And the way you bring it all together, it's so understandable, and it's so also for our industry, let's say, right? You even asked, I don't know if some of you are familiar with this, but it comes from different levels. We have high practitioners, right, that are in the world that are doing this, but we have others that are just stepping into this new world of wellness and sharing with others. So what would be your best insight as to why everyone should consume elements themselves, and why they should also recommend it to others to add to their daily routine?
Okay, well, one of the most important philosophies that works as a background for health is the fact that we need to coordinate our day in a rhythm. It's called chronobiorhythm. And we can do it naturally if we perform certain actions, but health is basically a word that we can translate in balance. The scientific word for this, after Cannon and his research, is homeostasis, which means to remain the same. Homeo means the same. And why would we want to maintain a balance? Because there's so many influences in our life that could be stresses from work, from infections, from all sorts of venues. But if our body is strong enough, almost steady as a rock, all these influences are not able to push us out of balance. And that's the key. So what are we advising people to do? To keep their health stable as a rock. And being healthy is better than waiting for a disease to happen and then cure it. And it's also cheaper. We know through procedures and medical intervention. Obviously, if somebody is sick or for any illness or any disease, they have to consult a doctor. There's no doubt about it. They need to consider health or disease in a different sort of compartment. But health should be introduced to everyone, to every citizen, as a wealth. So health is wealth, and to maintain it, we need to follow simple rules. One of those is to keep the balance. And to keep the balance, we have basically this polarity of releasing energy, using energy, and then building up energy at night. It's very simple. And this is why we call it a duo. And it's part of the yin yang philosophy. It's part of the obvious functions of the body.
This is absolutely incredible. All your knowledge that you have been able to share with us, and somebody said it also on the chat, on a simple manner, and that I know that it wasn't simple to create and co-develop our Healy elements, but this is going to be huge in our new generation and our new era of Healy. So please, everybody, help me thank Dr. Garoli for being here today. And if you have any additional questions, please ask them on here. But any last words you would like to share before we move on with Martina, that is going to speak about more on the branding side of Elevance?
Just a word of thanks, because I would like to thank Marcus for his inventions and the contribution that he had to the world. I would like to thank the team that is bringing all these ideas to everyone, and you, Adriana, for the show and for this organization, and everyone that is listening, especially because it's our mission to keep steady and also to pass it on. So thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
No, thank you. And thank you for bringing not only this amazing supplement, but technology and future growth for our company as well. So thank you for being here. And we look forward to having you. I'm going to extend the invitation right now to have you more often on our America's Call. And where are you actually joining us from today?
I'm calling from Italy at the moment. It's from sunny
Okay,
Italy.
so from Italy. So, buonasera.
Buonasera.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes. Hablo un poquito español
Thank you
también.
for everything. And feel free to stay on if anybody asks anything on the chat, but enjoy your evening. And thank you so much for joining. Again, I will share with you also everything that was commented on the chat for you. And thank you and
Wonderful. Thank you very
congratulations
much.
on this new development. And just so everybody knows, we are launching our pre-sales for Elements on Monday. So you are going to be the first ones to be able to take advantage of it and have it on your hands and be able to promote it. So thank you again for bringing this and for being the one to bring it to the Americas. So US and Mexico are the first markets to be launching on Monday. So can't wait to tell you all of the exciting news behind it.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay.